X, Gen Zers, and millennials alike, welcome back to the channel. Okay, today's message is interesting. All right, they already fell out. Okay, now let me explain. You know I shuffle the cards on camera, so I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to set up the cards or what have you, whatever that means, because I never knew what that meant. How you gonna set somebody up with some cards? But that's not what I'm doing. This is the energy that is laid out for you today. Now, Gen X, Gen Zers, and millennials, I would like to thank everyone for their views, likes, comments, what have you on my videos. Thank you so very much. Much appreciated. Now, Gen X, millennials, Gen Zers, let's get into it, because today's message is interesting because I pulled the egg. This is the egg. I pulled the grasshopper. Oh, sorry, y'all. Sorry. Okay. I pulled broken wishbone. And I pulled teapot. All right. Gen X, millennials, Gen Zers. Look, when I saw this combination, I immediately thought that somebody had a plan. You know, somebody took a leap. Okay, somebody was expecting a particular outcome, and it just didn't go the way they thought it would. All right. And now, what I feel with these, I feel like there's a conversation happening here. All right. I feel like it's something maybe getting discussed behind the scenes, and eventually whatever's discussed behind the scenes, the information is going to come to the surface. Not sure what that is for you, Gen X, millennials, Gen Zers. Take it, put it where it fits. This could pertain to you, someone in your energy here, or just the energy around you. All right. So now, let's get into this tea. All right. We have the egg. All right. This says success assured with good plans and hard work. I hope y'all can see that. Okay. Now, the egg, it represents potential here. It represents something is forming or something is developing, Gen X, millennials. All right. This may be a new relationship. This may be a new opportunity, a new plan, a new phase in your life. All right. Or even a situation that somebody has quietly been nurturing, whoever that is, you, someone else, what have you. All right. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to try to. All right, there you go. So y'all can see it a little bit better because, all right, there we go. Let's see. All right, now you can see that a little bit better. All right, but Gen X, millennials, this is the thing about this egg here. All right, you never know what's inside an egg. All right, you don't know exactly what's inside an egg until you open it, and hopefully it's just the yolk. All right, I'm just saying, but metaphorically, you don't know what is going on behind the scenes until it comes to the surface. Okay, and you know that makes this card interesting in this particular reading because someone may have been looking at a situation and thinking like, this is going to work out exactly the way I wanted it to. They could be thinking that, or someone in the energy may have been making plans. They may be investing time, energy into something, friendship, relationship, what have you, business deal, partnership, building a business, whatever, Gen X, millennials. All right. They may have been waiting for something to develop even. All right. Now, Gen X and millennials, we get to the grasshopper here. And this says, take a chance. All right. To me, this is saying you need to go on, take a chance, make a move. All right. Because you may have decided to take a risk, And I'm getting the feeling that this wasn't necessarily a completely reckless decision. All right, Gen X and millennials. You may have believed you had enough information to make that leap. All right. Maybe somebody walked away from something. You, someone else, or you pursued someone pursued you. All right. Or you may have started something new here. Okay. Or maybe you thought that you were finally going to get the opportunity you've been waiting for here. Now, take it, put it where it fit. Whatever it was, Gen X and millennials, you or the other person jumped. Whoever, you know what I'm saying. And then we have the broken wishbone. You know, this is saying to me, whatever you thought was going your way, it didn't go as you planned it to go, or the other person, what have you. All right, this is giving me disappointment here. All right, it's like something didn't happen the way you wanted it. A wish was not fulfilled for you. Okay, an expectation wasn't met, what have you. Or, you know, a promise may not have produced the outcome that you anticipated here, Gen X and millennials. All right. And, you know, I think somebody may have to confront reality. You may have to confront reality. Somebody in the energies got to confront reality here. All right. Because, you know, sometimes we become so attached to the outcome that we ignore the signs, you know, that are telling us this ain't gonna go the way you thought. We are so, you know, we think like, yeah, this is gonna happen the way I thought it would. You know, sometimes it don't. All right. This could pertain to a relationship. Maybe you had a crush on somebody had a crush on you, and you or the other person thought that y'all was gonna get together. All right, you may have thought you was gonna get a promotion. All right, if this is an ex coming back into your energy, whatnot, what have you, you may have thought there was gonna be some sort of reconciliation. All right, maybe a new opportunity here, a fresh start. But instead, you got a lesson. All right, you got a lesson. And this is what stands out to me, Gen X millennials alike. Okay, the egg became, you know, the egg came before the broken wishbone. All right, this is a bird, you know, that I think the turkey has the wishbone, but still it had to come from an egg first. All right, so something had potential, whatever that is. Okay, but you know, potential isn't the same thing as a guarantee here, Gen X and millennials. And the distinction may be the entire lesson, right? Okay. Last card we have is teapot. Somebody got something to say. Somebody got to spill the tea. That, you know, somebody wants to spill some tea to you. All right. Come on now. That's what I was thinking. You already knew what I was thinking. Somebody, you know, the tea is brewing. All right. And this teapot, it can point toward conversations, information, social exchanges, or things being shared. All right. So after whatever disappointment may have, you know, been for you, somebody could have been talking. It could have been a close friend spilling the tea on you. Okay, this could have been a family member spilling the tea, a co-worker spilling the tea. It's somebody that you're close to. Or you could just simply be processing everything internally before deciding what to do next. All right, Gen X millennials, you know, but something about this situation wants to be communicated. I mean, I don't know, somebody want to say something to you, they want to tell you something, what have you. And I wouldn't be surprised if this information comes out and it helps explain why something didn't work for you. Okay, like whatever you were planning, and if it didn't work out for you the way you thought, There's a reason why sometime, all right? Maybe not sometime, it's all the time. There's always a reason, okay? So, Gen X and millennials, the bigger message here, you know, and this is where I think that the collective needs to pay attention, all right? This isn't necessarily about celebrating somebody else's disappointments here. That's not what that's about. That's not the lesson, you know. The deeper message here is that Gen X, millennials, Gen Zers, you can't force an outcome simply because you've already invested in it, all right? We invest in a lot of things and we do try to force an outcome from it, but, you know, sometimes spirit allows something to crack because you were holding on, you know, to an expectation that wasn't actually aligned with your path. Just saying, Gen X and millennials, the universe is telling you this, okay? Now, the broken wishbone could also represent the moment that, you know, you realize, wait a minute, hold on. Maybe this wasn't supposed to happen the way I thought it was. You know what I'm saying? That it's like a ding. I realized, okay, wait a minute. Maybe that wasn't supposed to go that way. You see what I'm saying, Gen X and millennials? All right? And that can sting. That can really sting. Like, it's like a sting. All right, Gen X and millennials, I feel you. But, you know, by knowing the truth and you know, realizing this, you can also free yourself. You know, because once the illusions and the fantasies break, you can really see what's real. All right. Now, also for some of you, this may well involve another person who made a move expecting you to respond in a certain way. All right. You know, they may have expected you to chase them. This could be an ex, a present person, all right? And, you know, they may have offered you something and they expected you to take it, you know? And present person, ex, whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Take it, put it where it fits, Gen X and millennials. This person may have thought you always remain available, and you know, they thought you never changed your mind, but something didn't go according to their plan either, and now they're having conversations about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's everybody's story, but they may be talking to somebody about it. All right, if they're spiritual, they could be talking to spirit about this, but they are having conversations about this, whatever that is for you on your timeline. Take it, put it where it fits. All right. But, you know, Gen X, millennials, Gen Zers, if you recently noticed somebody acting differently toward you, you know, becoming quiet, suddenly asking questions or trying to gather some information, pay attention, Gen X and millennials. But don't obsess over it, you know, don't go digging, just be quiet and observe. Watch as well as pray, as my grandmother used to say, all right? Because, you know, sometimes the truth doesn't need to be hunted down here. It don't need to be hunted down. It walks right straight through the door carrying a whole teapot, Gen X and millennials, all right? Now, the grasshopper here, the second message for the grasshopper, you know, there's another side to the grasshopper as well, and it can also be your leap. You know, maybe the universe is asking you to stop waiting for somebody else's plan to unfold here. Make your own plan. Unfold your own plan. And, you know, stop sitting around waiting for an answer, waiting for somebody to make a decision, to come back, waiting for an opportunity. You know, the universe is telling you, you have your own life to live here. So, don't sit beside a closed door waiting for somebody else to open it. You turn the knob, crack it open, pull it on open, all right? Because if something doesn't work out, that doesn't automatically mean you've lost. So don't keep sitting there waiting. Just open the door, go ahead, take that leap, try it, all right? Because, you know, sometimes this broken wishbone card, is actually your protection here. All right. Nobody wants a broken bone, so we try to protect our bones at all costs. So this could be your protection. And you know, Gen X millennials, Gen Zers, sometimes the thing you wanted was not the thing you needed, you know, that you thought you needed. No, we all had that problem. The thing, you know, we think we want is not what we really need, Gen X and millennials, Gen Zers. And sometimes, you know, disappointment is just simply the universe redirecting you here. All right. Now, Gen X, millennials, Gen Zers. I know that was a little long, but let's put these cards together here. All right. And tell you what I'm feeling. The egg, something was developing. All right. The grasshopper, somebody, you or somebody took a leap of faith here. All right. This broken wishbone, things didn't come out as you expected them to. And now there's information and conversation surrounding the situation. All right. But Gen X, Gen Zers, millennials alike, my final message to you is don't mistake a broken plan for a broken future. All right. Something may not have worked out. Somebody may have disappointed you. Okay. Somebody may be talking, gossiping, running their mouth, talking behind your back. But that don't mean the story ends there. Okay. The egg tells us there is still potential. There is still something developing behind the scenes, Gen X, millennials. All right. And there is still another chapter in your life that is ready to unfold for you. All right. So the universe, spirit, may be taking you away from a certain outcome that you desperately wanted to happen here. All right. Because there's something better waiting for you on the other side of that disappointment. All right. You know, so Gen X, millennials, if something recently fell apart for you, if, you know, someone didn't choose you or you didn't choose someone, an opportunity that you thought was coming in disappeared, or if a plan just suddenly changed on you. All right. You had this plan, but all of a sudden, no, it changed. All right. Gen X and millennials, don't panic. You just getting redirected by the universe. You know what I'm saying? And as for the tea of it, well, somebody's plans may have cracked, and now the conversation is about to begin. That's the tea of the story. All right. Gen X, millennials, Gen Zers. If this reading resonated with you, drop me a teacup in the comment section. Let me know what part of the message hit home for you, if it resonated at all, Gen X and millennials. All right. And if you're here, please subscribe to Gen X Tarot, because, you know, I read the cards. I look beneath the surface, and I try not to ignore the red flags, and I try to give you the best advice that I can give you. All right, Gen X, millennials, Gen Zers, like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with someone who may need it, Gen X, millennials, Gen Zers. And until then, keep your eyes open. Keep your intuition really sharp here, all right? And don't drink every cup of tea that's been handed to you, all right? And until your next YouTube video message, Gen X, Gen Zers, millennials alike, deuces.